In this video, I'm analyzing the global movement Amnesty International, and I'm focusing on the recent online activist campaign to support intersex rights. The aim of this video is to consider the limitations and the potentials that digital media offers activists in their attempt to drive social change. To do this, I'm analyzing their online strategies on their website and on their Twitter profile to investigate my argument that online activism is beneficial in representing social issues, even though it also has essential limitations. Amnesty International's recent campaign attempts to bring awareness to intersex rights. Their claim is that in contemporary society, the binary gender hierarchies are suppressing people who find themselves outside this discourse. Amnesty's intersex movement challenges these binary structures and fight for the right to physical and bodily self-determination. The campaign is mainly being practiced through their website and Twitter profile. The American sociologist Victoria Carty describes how new technology brings new communication possibilities to social movements and gives a louder voice to the public sphere. When the intersex movement embeds itself in digital media, it changes the organizational process within this movement. The intersex movement uses different online strategies. On Amnesty International's website, the movement applies different strategies to frame the issue of intersex rights. The American sociologists Robert Benford and David Snow have studied framing processes in social movements. Benford and Snow describe core framing as a way of diagnosing an issue when identifying the problem. On Amnesty International's website, they diagnose the binary structures within society. They use a lot of text space to alter the problem that is framed as a problem in the world's binary division of gender. Despite of the movement's textual framing, they apply images as framing tools. They construct what Benford and Snow define as boundary framing, which is the aim to outline boundaries between good and bad. Unclear and anonymous images of doctors with scary operating tools are opposed to images of tiny innocent baby feet lying as victims in the hospital. These ethos-stressed images are explicating the boundary between the bad logical healthcare system and the good vulnerable child who does not fit into the healthcare system's binary gender category. Another online strategy that Amnesty International is applying in their intersex movement is Twitter. On Twitter, they use the hashtags intersex, intersex rights, and beyond genders to integrate the movement in the Twitter forum. The American professor of journalism, Jill Hopke, studies the use of Twitter in online activism. She explains how Twitter is a platform for a given social movement to communicate and broadcast its perspectives. By creating these hashtags, they create a searchable space where their activism can be communicated and broadcasted for people using Twitter. Hopke explains how Twitter operates as a public sphere that challenges social systems when it hands over the power to the public. When Amnesty International practices their online activism through hashtags, they invite Twitter users to become a part of the activism. The intersex movement's use of hashtags can be interpreted as an identity process. Hopke elaborates, quote, "Collective action frames help movements construct collective identities, which can be defined as the outcome of interactive processes through which groups of individuals co-construct shared definitions of social relations and actions." Unquote. The use of the intersex hashtags becomes a performative act for Twitter users who can adapt and experiment with this collective identity by tweeting content to #intersex. The intersex movement's online activism both has potential and limitations. The potential is firstly the accessibility. The campaign exists beyond time and space as people across borders and time schedules can access the material. The American professor of public relations Jamie Ward underlines the potential in the fact that online campaigns can give rise to active participants whose engagement lies in the peer production. Another potential of Amnesty International's use of online activism is the performative creation of a collective identity feeling. Being an active part of a hashtag offers a performative sense of belonging to a group. Amnesty International's use of online activism also has limitations. The website contains a massive amount of information that tries to embrace a complex problem. The website becomes academic and thereby excluding of certain demographics. Another limitation is that even though their website and hashtags are easy to access, people have to actively access it. The people who click into their online spaces may already be aware. Ward's main issue with online activism is what he calls slacktivism, which he understands as people who support only by liking and retweeting. While the collective identity feeling is a potential to gain supporters, it can also be regarded as an issue if people are supporting as a self-creation rather than a sincere interest. The intersex movement is an awareness campaign that attempts to change normative assumptions about binary gender structures. The use of online activism has potentials in its accessibility and diffusion, but also limitations in exclusion and superficial support. But because the intersex movement is an awareness campaign rather than a donation campaign, the online strategy is beneficial as the information is effectively shared online. Furthermore, online activism provides a sense of collective identity. In the intersex movement, sexuality and gender identity are the central subjects, and by offering an online forum for performing one's identity, the movement offers an essential forum in which intersex people can perform their own identity.